Hey guys, it's LeBron here, and me and some other celebrities are going to tell you all about the Emu War. Here's a quick table of context listing everything that will be discussed in this presentation.
Most of the history that got covered in Mrs. Segan's AP World Class this year highlighted the big battles and famous leaders. But what about the bizarre events we didn't touch on? The Emu War was a strange but real military operation in Australian history. It shows how birds embarrassed them.
Well, what was the Emu War? It was a war that lasted from November to December of 1932 in the Campion district of Western Australia, and there were lots involved, and each of them had different roles. Let's go over them.
The Australian government approved military intervention. Some of the Royal Australian Artillery soldiers who were led by Major D.P.W. Meredith. Western Australian farmers who requested help controlling emus destroying their crops also played a big role.
Thank you, Shaq. But don't forget the 20,000 emus who migrated inland after breeding season and swarmed the wheat fields, causing lots of problems.
A war on birds, what truly happened. Emus began to migrate into farmland after breeding season, and they trampled and ate crops during a crucial farming period. Farmers who struggled due to the depression and low wheat prices asked for federal help.
And in response, the government sent soldiers with 2 Lewis machine guns and 10,000 rounds of ammunition. Despite the firepower, the emus were too fast and they scattered, and the operation failed twice with very low bird casualties.
And then the press mocked and made fun of the campaign and the emu operation, and it was quickly shut down by December of 1932.
Shut up, Drake. I'm Kendrick, and I'm here to ask, why did this happen? Well, Australia was hit hard by the global Great Depression. Farmers were promised subsidies that never came. The emus were acting naturally, but the huge scale of migration collided with the fragile and crucial farmland.
The impact and legacy was seen short as this event flies under the radar and isn't talked about as much because it is seen as an embarrassment. Let's talk about the short-term and long-term impacts.
On the short term, crops continue to be damaged and only about 1,000 emus were killed out of tens of thousands. Also, the operation became a national joke and was seen as a waste of military resources. And on the long term, there was increased awareness of pest management problems in Australia. It also led to the construction of exclusion fencing as a more effective solution, and it strengthened the role of government in rural land management.
Why is this war so overlooked? Well, unfortunately, the Emu War is often overlooked for a few reasons. Let's talk about them.
It's treated as a humorous or absurd story rather than a serious historical event. It was overshadowed by major 20th century events like the Depression, the rise of fascism, and World War II. And it challenged the typical stories of war and victory since the birds won.
Drake, what did I say? Keep your mouth shut. But anyways, we need to connect it to the pieces, themes, and tie in the region too. The AP World region this falls under is Oceania, specifically in Western Australia.
The pieces themes go like this. Political. The government used military force to solve a farming issue and revealed the limits of state power. Innovation and tech machine guns were used but failed, and tech didn't help the problem. Environmental and human interaction, the conflict between migrating emus and farmers was high, and humans tried to control nature but failed. Cultural, the war became part of national humor and turned embarrassment into folklore. Economic, it took place during the Great Depression and farmers lost crops, which worsened rural poverty. And social, which is that rural farmers felt abandoned, which highlighted the disconnect between government and the struggling communities.
Thank you for listening to our presentation on the Emu War, and just a quick summary of what was talked about will be given by LeBron. He's done most of the work anyways.
The Emu War was a 1932 Australian attempt to stop emus from ruining crops. The military used machine guns but failed, and the emus won. It's now remembered as a humorous and ironic event in history. Thank you all for listening. Summer is almost here.